I have found that to eliminate something is sometimes very difficult. To fill myself with a feeling of love, I would like to know more about the specific acts that I could do, the acts of service. What acts of service can an individual perform? What is an act of service?
Sharing with others. There is dignity in all service. Makes little difference what the entity will do. But know ye full measure that the law is just, infinitely just, perfectly just. That ye would do to another, ye do unto thyself. If ye would let thy conscience, thy subconscious, thy soul be thy guide, simply ask thyself, would I appreciate having this done to me? And if ye would not, then do it not. For it is simply the higher self communicating with that of lower self and manifesting on this dimension as conscience. See?
Does part of the purpose of life include a responsibility for helping or aiding others to achieve their purpose of life?
The purpose is never accomplished except upon that of the arm of nothing. No one ever enters that man knows as heaven except upon the arms of others. See?
So our relationships with other individuals is very important, as I understand what you're saying.
Each individual is unique and is to be considered an individual, yet is the part of the whole, and all are one. For that ye do unto another, ye do unto thyself. Do unto others that is as a loving, kind act, and this will be done unto thee, and as such ye will eventually climb the ladder of love in order to return to that from whence ye have knowingly separated thyself. See?
Why is the purpose of life to return to the Godhead?
To this you would have to go to the beginning. In the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was God. And that of the force of God was in harmonious vibration. That of God did desire companionship. And the desires of God are answered without question immediately. When the desire for companionship was consummated, it brought forth immediately souls, souls as ye know them. For all were there in the beginning, and none have been lost or none have been added from that experience in what ye call time. Now these souls were individuals, yet were completely aware of the harmony and the relationship with God. For this could be considered a mind force, and they were of one mind, of like thought, ye might say. Yet there were some souls that did hover over dimensions where there was the manifestation of matter. Now matter is God, if you would understand that matter is composed of the atom, and the atom is composed of energy, and energy and spirit are one, and spirit is of God. Therefore matter is God, however of a different vibration. Many a soul did hover over the sphere that ye and thine presently inhabit as of the earth, and they witnessed the evolution of many different species or forms of life that were taking place upon this particular ball of matter. and they did desire to experience sensation. For they watched the insect, they watched the animal that later became the vehicle for the incorporation of the soul. They watched the vegetable world growing. They watched many of the beastie fly through the air. And they did desire to experience feeling, for they did witness creation and co-creation on that might be considered by man as a lower level of creation, manifested in physical forms. The souls knowingly and willingly expressed a stronger and stronger desire to enter into matter. And in this they knowingly separated themselves from the God force. They formed their own trap, so to speak. Many a soul that did enter became entrapped in the very rocks themselves. Some inhabited that of the vegetable world. Many inhabited that later became known as man. Many of the souls, as co-creators with God, did produce what might now be considered certain monstrosities as far as appearance is concerned, by the utilization of what might be known as a thought form. For many of the bodies in the beginning had that of the tail, the scale, the feather, the talon, and the beak. Many had that of a thicker hide than any animal that you know of. Yet these souls longed to return to that from whence they had come, but had lost sight of the path that they had trod and were entrapped. Many of the souls that might be considered or defined original souls have never entered the flesh. Most have. There were some that chose not in the beginning to experience sensation. Yet they felt compassion, so to speak, for their brothers. And they were aware of the anxieties and disdain by those souls that had committed the act of separation. And they knowingly re-entered this dimension, inhabiting that of a vehicle, a body, for the single purpose of teaching those souls the path to follow in order to return to that from whence they had knowingly separated themselves. This first entity and others who did enter at later dates, and those who are entering even now through choice, would be known first as Adam, or the sons of that of the same. Some might refer to that of the original soul as Anilius. Little difference what ye call, for this is the reason